Greetings, how you doing? This is Adam Rafferty, funky fingerstyle guitarist from New York City, and I have a super cool guitar lesson for you today, something that I think you're really going to like, and it's really going to help you become a better player, improve your technique, improve your musicianship, and all that good stuff. But before we get started, I'd like to urge you to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Just hit the button below. That way you won't miss any updates. And also, please like my Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Adam Rafferty Guitar, because getting liked on Facebook is what life is all about. All right. So in this lesson, I'm going to do a little bit of explaining, and I want you to roll with me, because we've all heard about scales, and it's like a huge turnoff to guitarists, because it feels like, ugh, this thing that I have to do, and I know I should do it, but I sense no relationship between that and my playing, and it's sort of like this disconnect. And I want to try to help you get these things connected within yourself so that you really see the benefits of what you're going to get out of working on some of this stuff. And I'm going to show you how I work on it. I do this every day as a warm-up, and it really helps my technique and my musicianship. So I made a little cheat sheet here because I don't have a teleprompter or anything. So what are some of the things you're going to get out of doing some of these simple exercises? Well, one, you're going to improve your left hand technique over here. You're going to have to really get used to playing on the tips of the fingers in a way that you might not be used to normally doing, okay? And you're going to get a certain mobility between the fingers. And it's great for your right hand technique. So whether you play with a flat pick or a thumb pick or your fingers, fingernails, no fingernails, whichever way you like to pick the strings, by practicing scales, you're going to have to develop a touch that is fairly consistent across all the strings in terms of volume and tone. So practicing a scale, you might get a great sound down on the low strings, and then as you get up high, the tone might become really thin and weak. So this gives you an opportunity to sort of listen and feel your way in terms of what's going on with your hands. So an evenness of touch and tone overall. You'll have a super warm-up routine. Okay, now I have a lesson called Groove Scales over on adamrafferty.com. The concept that you'll apply to this scale is sort of the same. I do this for real as a warm-up every day. Every time I take the guitar out, or if I'm in the dressing room, or if I'm on the road in the hotel, this is how I start my practice routine with this stuff. And it's fun, and it feels good, and I like doing it. Aha! Okay, further notes. As if by magic, you will find that you start learning the notes of the fingerboard. Okay, it won't be this memorization thing and, oh gosh, I have to learn the fingerboard. If you just do the scales, you will find that you know your way around. And that's a really good preparation if you want to get into other areas of music, like maybe you want to get into jazz, or if you don't read music, you want to learn how to read music one day. So knowing where the notes are is a really good thing to start with. Okay, so what is a scale exactly? You've probably heard do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. You've probably heard something like that in your life. And actually, if you were to look at a piano and just play the white notes from C up to C. Only the white keys, you get a C major scale. Okay? So this is really important. If you're a guitar player who only plays electric guitar, like and you're doing a lot of like bending, or if you're only a person that plays chords or fingerstyle, playing melody lines such as scales is going to open up a whole new area in your playing. Okay? So further notes, bear with me, and then we're going to get into the scale, I promise. We're going to get down to it. All musicians who are trained musicians, like pianists, violinists, saxophone players, trumpet players, they all practice scales. It's just with guitar that somehow we sidestep this issue. And back when I was studying with my beloved mentor, Mike Longo, pianist, jazz pianist, played for Dizzy Gillespie, he told me one week, he says, well, you know, for next week, before we get into improvising, I'm just going to tell you, you have to know cold all your major and minor scales and all keys and your arpeggios. And I almost had a heart attack. I was like, dude, are you crazy? Those don't fit on the guitar. Because I couldn't imagine how would I play a B flat minor, a harmonic minor scale, or arpeggio, or I was like, man, guitar is like all just down here. It's classical guitar, you know. C really fits, but D flat is uncomfortable. And he was like, oh, no, 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 no. He's like, don't give me any of that. You got to have it down in 12 keys. Just show up next week. So I really had a fire under me to do this. And the benefit that I got out of doing it, well, I can only speak for myself, but I feel like I know the guitar neck now after like 45 years of playing. Okay, so the fingering idea that I'm going to give you, I got from a great book by a guy named Johnny Smith, who was the staff guitar player for NBC, I think in the 50s or the 60s, not sure, late 50s. And he had a way of practicing scales so it's not just like in one position, but actually going up the whole neck. So we're going to do it in the key of G. We're going to do a G major scale. And we're going to end up all the way. Sorry, I didn't know if that was the right fret. So we're going to go 3 octaves in this scale. What we're going to do is we're going to have a couple of shift points. Now you're going to do, over here on the left hand, 1 finger per fret. I want you to line your index finger up with the 2nd fret. So that's called second position. And we're going to start with the 2nd finger on the 3rd fret. Okay, that note is G. Then we're going to go to the 4th finger, pinky. And for some of you, this might really present a challenge because playing on the tip of the finger is not easy if you've never done it. Right on the tip of that pinky, 5th fret, then 2nd fret on the 5th string, 3rd fret on the 5th string, 5th fret. So we just did ba, 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 ba. And you could play it over here however you like to do it with the right hand. But what I want you to do is if you're doing it with your thumb, you're going to play your thumb all the way up to the high E string. If you're doing it with fingers, you're going to use the same tool on your right hand is going to play the low strings and the high strings. I don't want you to play like the 3 lowest with your thumb and the 3 upper strings with your fingers. Okay? I want you to use the same tool so we can hear if the sound is even using the same thing over here. Okay, so we've got this much so far. Right? Now we're going to do a shift. That's where we move the left hand to another position. So let's go up to 7th position, lining up your first finger with the 7th fret. We're still on the 5th string, okay? So, 1st finger, 3rd finger, 4th finger. Now we're going to go up to the 4th string. That was 7th fret, 9th fret, 10th fret. Go up to the 3rd string, 7th fret, 9th fret. Go up to the 2nd string, 7th fret, 8th fret, 10th fret. Now we're going to do another shift. Okay? Go up to the 12th fret. That was 1st finger, 2nd finger, 4th finger. Now go up to the high E string. 12th fret, 14th fret, 15th fret. Okay? Now, I'm doing this on a nylon string guitar. This is a beautiful guitar, by the way, built by a guy named Daniel Zucali. I'm checking this guitar out. I might buy it. But I do this on my regular guitar as well, the Maton steel string. You can do this on any guitar, okay? It could be a Fender Strat, okay? So what I'm going to do now, let's do this together. I'm going to put the tabs on the screen for you, and let's do this with a groove like a walking bass line. But let's try to really make so there's no audible difference when we shift. Of course, there might be a little squeak, but that's, you know, we'll deal with that. Okay, so we're going to do like walking bass tempo from the low note to the high note. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, but jang. 1, 2, ready, and. Okay, so we got all the way from the lowest G to the highest G, pretty much. And, you know, one of the things that will also happen is you will get a sense of moving your hand left to right. I often find that I'm able to jump frets with my eyes closed. And most of the time I get it because my body and muscles know the spacings. That's something that will happen as a byproduct. You don't have to work on that. You can still use your eyes to look at the neck and make sure you're in the right place. Look at your dots over here on the fretboard. Let me see if I could do this with my eyes closed. So I'm closing my eyes. There it is. There it is. Cool. Did it with my eyes closed. Okay. Now, if you're playing with your fingers, there are two different ways that you can pluck the string. I don't have any close-up cams going. You can pluck what's called a free stroke, where your finger plucks and it is, you do a follow through and it's still kind of in the air and then you're not touching a string. Or you pluck almost the way a bass player would pluck and you come to rest on the string below. See, so if I pluck on the high E string, now I land on the B string. That's called a rest stroke. Check out both ways. Do both. It's always good to do both. Okay, so let's do the scale now, coming back down. Okay. So we're going to start at the high note, 4th finger, then, 15th fret, 14th fret, 12th fret, now 2nd string, 15th fret, 13th fret, 12th fret. Now you're going to shift down to 7th position, but the first note you're going to be playing is your 4th finger. on the 10th fret, then 8th fret, 7th fret. So let's just review that move that I just did on the 2nd string, because you're going like 4, 2, 1, and then shifting down and 4, 2, 1 again. And when I say 4, I mean the left hand pinky, the 2nd finger, and the 1st finger. So, okay. Classical guitarists like to do these side-to-side shifts on the top 3 strings because they won't squeak. Lower strings will squeak, upper strings won't. Okay, so even something like this, you know, shifting down and starting with your pinky, if you've never checked that out, that will really enhance your technique. But I recommend doing it slowly. Okay, then 3rd string, 3, 4th string, okay, 5th string. Now we're going to shift here. If you can lift off rather than get a squeak, that would be great. So you actually lift, move your hand, and then put the finger back down. So it would sound a little bit like this. Ah, sorry. You want to hold it long enough too. You don't want to just go short in the middle of nice long notes. You want it to sound like it's seamless. So. Now, a huge mistake that most guitarists make when they're starting to learn about scales is, you know, they'll hear somebody like some maniac like Yngwie Malmsteen, who's awesome, but he's a maniac of speed. Al Di Meola, who else? Frank Gambale, all these guys, you know, and the thing is, scales, it doesn't mean you need to play them fast. Just burning yourself out playing these things fast is not the point. The point is to get solid with your touch, to check out your tone on each string. And on the side, you're going to start saying, "Oh wow, yeah, this note is F sharp and this note is D," and you're going to know where you are on a guitar. Okay. So now let's do the scale like a walking bass line, ascending and then descending. Okay? I'm going to repeat the top note after I get to the top. So we're going to play this note twice. Okay? And always do it to a groove. I like using an inner groove more than a metronome, but you can use either. But always do it to a groove. These notes are not floating in space anywhere. Okay, so make music even though you're just playing a scale. Okay, so here we go. Play it with me. Boom, check, boom, boom, back, boom, boom, back, boom, boom, back, boom. 1, 2, back, go 1, 2, ready, and. Back it to back it to back. Okay, going up, I had kind of a big ugly slide. Let's see. There it is. See the. I'd have to practice a little more on this guitar to learn the sounds. Okay, so all I want you to do is practice this G major scale. And I should have said, congratulations on getting through the lesson. I should have said that first. But just practice this one scale. Okay, don't overwhelm yourself with, oh man, I need to do 12 different scales. None of that yet. Get the feeling of this fingering down. And then when you're feeling ready, move it up a fret, which would be an A flat scale. Okay? And see if you can keep track of where you are, and then maybe try it from the second fret. You know, but just do the G scale for now, and you'll be good. And if you do this with a nice groove, you will be on your way to really developing a lot of guitar skills that you wouldn't normally develop. You can also do different grooves, by the way. You know, you could, you don't have to do a swing jazz groove. You could do something like, bang, bang, chick, boom, ba, chicka, chicka, 1, 2, bang, bang, and boom. And so on and so forth, okay? So lock it into a groove, get a good tone, get it feeling good, make it sound like music, and you will be on your way to really developing some new and wonderful guitar skills. Hope you enjoyed this lesson, and if you want to download this version of this scale, just click the link below. Don't forget to subscribe and like me on Facebook and all that, and God bless. Thanks for watching.